Coming up, with Aramark out, students look forward to what Bon Appetit has to offer.
Accepted student days and campus tours are a sure sign that spring is here.
Also, students welcome spring by holding a festival on campus.
But for others, spring brings unwelcome side effects. These stories and more coming up on the Nightly News.
3, 2.
The following program is produced by students in the Department of Communication Studies at Furman University.
I'm Hannah Catherine.
And I'm Amy Beard, here with the Nightly News.
I'm Hannah Catherine.
And I'm Amy Beard, here with the Nightly News. Bon Appetit holds a bright future for the Furman Dining Hall, and students are excited about what this new experience holds. Olivia Johnson reports.
Aramark will no longer be the food provider for Furman University. Many students are disappointed in the quality of food that has been served as Aramark begins to transition out after a long relationship with Furman.
You can see it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and there's almost no options for food. The only thing that's consistent is the bagels that sit over there. It's not even pizza anymore. It's honestly just pitiful. Like, if you come in the mid-afternoon or late afternoon, you can pretty much bet on not getting any food.
As Aramark's departure draws near, students are left increasingly unsatisfied.
The alternative to this is eating Chick-fil-A and Moe's every day, or going into Greenville and paying for food. So I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's part of what we pay for as a meal plan.
Bon Appetit brings a new variety and style of food to our dining experience. Their scratch-made cooking philosophy has many students eager for this transition.
Bon Appetit really stresses their philosophy with food, scratch-made cooking. So you've seen a little bit of that with Aramark in the dining hall so far. But scratch-made cooking, they were kind of the first in the industry to bring the whole farm-to-table initiative. So I think students, with the general population, will really enjoy this switch.
While new recipes await the Furman Dining Hall in Peden, our beloved dining staff will continue to work under Bon Appetit.
Yeah, they're very excited. You're going to have new people, new faces, and new ideas, new recipes, and it's going to be good for everyone involved.
Bon Appetit's chefs really have the ability to create their own menus, and I think that's one of the biggest things. You know, it's not being dictated from higher up, corporate level. It's really at school. What do students want to eat? I'm pretty sure they'll have a student committee that kind of looks at menus and approves them and stuff, so making sure that students are really getting in the dining hall and Peden what they want is the overall objective. I think we'll see noticeable differences in quality and stuff. I mean, Bon Appetit's definitely known within the industry. They only serve private four-year institutions, so that's their niche. That's what we are. It seemed like a good fit from a philosophy standpoint, and I think overall everybody will be really happy with the switch.
But the legendary cookies will remain a dining hall staple.
As the 20-year relationship ends with Aramark, a new beginning starts for Bon Appetit as we are excited to see what they have to offer to Furman University's food. This is Olivia Johnson reporting for the Nightly News.
Furman admissions has seen a 4% uptick in admissions this year in comparison to last year. The campus was filled with potential future Paladins for the final Accepted Students Day. Meredith Barents reports.
Furman Admissions hosted one final Accepted Students Day on April 1st, leading up to the college decisions deadline of May 1st.
Accepted Student Day is an opportunity for students to meet each other. For admission counselors, it's just as important for us to see them get to know Furman as it is to get to know their potential classmates. So this year, we've changed it up a little bit and we've had more student interaction among the group. Of course, they're being exposed to what faculty members do here at Furman, what different departments do, but it's just as important for them to kind of get to know the people who could be their classmates, the people who could be living on their hall.
So for Accepted Students Day, we were talked to by the Dean of Admissions who told us about Furman and what it means to go here. And then we broke off into smaller groups and did some icebreaker activities with some other prospective students. And that was a really fun way to get to know each other. And then we had a question and answer session, and we also had an opportunity to visit a class.
392 accepted students and their family members traveled to Furman to experience all the school has to offer.
Everyone comments on how friendly this campus is and how they feel just immediately welcomed when they're here.
What I thought of Acceptance Students Day, I really enjoyed it so far. I really liked being able to go to class. I got to go to a chemistry class, and the professor was really nice and really funny. And I enjoyed getting to eat and making new friends, and I liked everything. I thought it was really informational, and I really enjoyed getting to meet new people and getting to get a taste of what Furman was like. I could definitely see myself at Furman. I was really unsure before I came here for this day, but now I think that I'm gonna come here, so I'm really excited.
I'm excited for her. I mean, I think it's the perfect place for her. I really do.
230 accepted students have already committed to being part of the class of 2020. We look forward to see these numbers rise after a successful Accepted Students Day. This is Meredith Barents reporting for the Nightly News.
It's that time of year again. Spring has officially sprung at Furman, but not everyone's excited about the blooming flowers. Lindsay Dennis reports.
Furman University is known for its beauty during springtime, but the plants wreak havoc on some students.
The pollen in the air affects my ability as a soccer referee. It's really tough at this time of the year, and as a matter of fact, I've been outside today riding in a golf cart, and even though we've had rain, some still gets behind my contacts, so I'm constantly having to clean my eyes.
Students playing outside especially struggle with the pollen, sending some to the infirmary.
But on the soccer field, before we get any heavy rains, the pollen gets behind my contacts and my eyes water to the point where I either have to stop and take them out and clean them, or sometimes I just bring my glasses, and as soon as it starts hurting me, then I just take my contacts out and wear my glasses.
Some allergies are caused by a hypersensitivity to pollen.
To try things like over-the-counter antihistamines, so things like Claritin and Zyrtec are non-drowsy types, and they last for a full 24 hours. Benadryl is a great option too, but because it makes you really sleepy, it's not as great for things like seasonal allergies where you need to be functioning the next day. There are also some over-the-counter medicines like Flonase and Nasonex, which are inhaled nasal steroids, which help decrease the inflammation in your nose itself. And those are really great for people who have lots of nasal symptoms, lots of runny nose, itchy nose, that type of stuff.
Seasonal allergies affect more than 67 million Americans every year. So do what you can to stay healthy this beautiful season. I'm Lindsay Dennis with the Nightly News.
2 students from the Riley Institute were featured in the Greenville News last month for a conference they attended last semester. Jake Krause reports.
Last semester, students from the Riley Institute Advanced team traveled to the Philippines to participate in the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, known as APEC. Seniors Gray Johnson and Mallory Taylor recently wrote about their experience in an op-ed published by the Greenville News. Though the convention featured dense talk of economic legislation, Johnson says these conversations are vital to the average person.
One thing that they stressed a lot at the summit was talking about how to bring economic growth and sustainable economic growth to small and medium-sized business owners. And so I think that is something that relates more commonly to, let's say, the average person in all of these countries, because those are the people that these big trade agreements, those benefits aren't reaching them.
The students got to network with other college-age delegates from the 21 Pacific Rim nations represented, yielding some meaningful conversations.
Mallory mentioned to me that she spoke with a delegate from Australia about gun control. I spoke with delegates from, I think, Japan and Singapore about education system and about how Japan's education was getting too expensive, and we could obviously have a lot to relate there. So those had a profound impact on me, just reaching out to people from economies that I'd honestly never had any experience with before.
Seniors Jonathan Kumbakundamana and Nathan Thompson got to engage with senior politicians directly during the conference.
And so Nathan Thompson represented us, and he spoke about small and medium-sized enterprises, and then Jonathan got to ask a question kind of following up on similar issues. So that was a really much more intimate meeting with them than we expected to have.
Dr. Cleveland Frazier of the Political Science Department, who advised students on the trip, said these interactions proved how well prepared these students were for political debate on a big stage.
For the past 4 or 5 years, other than a delegation coming from Hawaii, the delegation from Furman is the delegation from the United States. So they represented Furman very well. They represent their country really well too.
Dr. Frazier says to keep an eye out for these students in the future, as many go on to do great things both civically and politically.
A 2008 participant in this program was actually a political officer in the embassy in Manila, where the current APEC, the 2015 APEC, occurred. And part of the reason that she's a Foreign Service officer was that she interacted with folks at APEC when it was in Lima, Peru in 2008.
The Riley Institute plans to send more of its members next year to the conference in Lima, Peru. This is Jake Krause reporting for the Nightly News.
Up next, purple versus white on the Furman football field.
And it's a new century for Furman softball coach Kyle Jamison. Here's PJ Fitzgerald with our sports.
Thanks, Amy. The football team wrapped up spring practice with the purple and white game on Saturday at Paladin Stadium. Connor Chariton reports.
The Furman football team held their annual purple and white spring game this past Saturday. Many members of the Greenville and Furman communities came out to support the team for a preview of what's to come in the 2016 season. This was the players' last chance to showcase their talents before concluding spring practices.
Today's the first time that we really divided the team, and we actually divided up into a purple and white team, had a little game rhythm to it. Usually we just kind of go offense versus defense. So today we kind of started a tradition of putting, one unit against the other, and then we'll have some things that we do. The winner gets some advantages on some things, and we're going to do some of that tomorrow.
Well, we've got a lot of guys coming back. A lot of guys that's played a lot of snaps. And it's our job as seniors and leaders of the team to kind of carry the momentum and carry the juice for the guys. So we just got to do that every day and execute what we need to execute, and it'll be fine.
In a game that was low scoring, both teams had some explosive plays on both offense and defense. Quarterbacks Reese Hannon and PJ Blazejowski showed leadership for each side, as the purple team ended up beating the white team 14-7. The coaches agreed on a couple of things that the team still needs to improve on during the offseason.
We want to be able to run the football better, and we got to be able to stop the run. And if we do take care of those daily goals, our goal is always going to be to take care of one game at a time. At Furman, the standard's really high, and the standard's always to win the conference championship. And as we start into this season, that's always a goal.
This year's team is a veteran bunch, and a lot of the upperclassmen have seen playing time throughout their careers. The senior class won a SoCon championship during their freshman season and hope to bring home the program's 14th championship on their way out. After a 4-7 record last season, the Furman Paladins look to bounce back, having signed 14 new recruits for this upcoming season. The Paladins start their season September 2nd against the Michigan State Spartans. This is Connor Chatterton with the Nightly News.
Furman softball coach Kyle Jamison has hit a major milestone. Molly Marshall reports.
The head softball coach at Furman University, Coach Kyle Jamison, became the fastest Furman coach to win 100 career wins after their victory over Buffalo. The team stands behind Jamison and are very proud of this accomplishment.
At first base, number 23, Anna Rose.
Playing under Coach Jamison has been a great experience. He's very wise in what he knows, and he loves the girls, and it's kind of an awesome feeling to know that you're playing with family, and he gives that to you, and he makes you work hard for what you need to do, but at the same time he makes you really realize how good you are and how much fun softball and being in college is.
During the 4 years that Coach Jamison has been at Furman, he has helped build this program to possibly becoming SoCon champions. He knows what he needs to do to create a championship team, and he's looking forward to continuing to build the Furman softball program.
It's a nice milestone, and it means a lot, and that someday I'll look back and be happy that I was the fastest coach. But again, really it's just the team has bought in ever since we got here. It's credit to the kids that have graduated. When we arrived, it wasn't a very strong program, and the kids that graduate are kind of the ones that set the culture and how we work and how we prepare. And the kids that are coming in now are fortunate to come into a program that's kind of on the softball map.
The girls have a current record of 18-19 and have 18 games left in the season. They are willing to do whatever they can to be victorious. Today, the Furman University women's softball team beat Georgia State, making this Coach Jamison's 104th victory. This is Molly Marshall signing off with the Nightly News.
That's all for sports. Back to you, Hannah Catherine.
Students threw colored paint at each other to celebrate the Holi Festival, allowing them exposure to another country's culture. Matsuri Ogawa reports.
One of the famous cultural life programs, the Holi Festival, took place at Furman on Friday. Many students attended to celebrate the Indian festival. The event started out with our Indian professor, Dr. Kanke, giving a lecture of what Holi is, followed by eating Indian food. Then finally, students participated in the color war.
But essentially what it is about, we celebrate the coming of spring, as it is March right now, and everything is in full color. And it is also at the same time the harvest season in India, so it's kind of like just the coming of like life. And the main story associated with it is also about good over evil. So it's a lot of like happiness, I guess, altogether.
The colors used in this festival represent everything blooming around us.
Holi is a Hindu festival. Although it does stem from Hindu roots, it is pretty much celebrated by people from every other religion in India.
The Holi Festival was hosted by the Asia Club.
Really enjoy it. It's a good culture experience. You get to learn about the festival of Holi, which is very important in the Indian culture. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, as you can see, we're throwing color at each other in water. It's just a blast, and you get all messy and whatnot. It's just tons of fun.
After the color war, students enjoyed splashing and washing off in the fountain.
0.4% of the students reported themselves as Hindu this year. This is Matsuri Ogawa reporting for the Nightly News.
That's all for our news this week.
Join us next week or find us on YouTube to catch more Nightly News.